and welcome back to Cooking with Fleur, and in this case we are going to be making Dutch food. As some of you may know, I am originally Dutch. I was born and raised there. Both my mom and dad used to cook us amazing Dutch food, so did my granny. So it is still one of the styles of foods that I love really very much, and especially on a cold winter's day. We love to eat nice thick hearty stews and soups and so on and so forth. We've got some beautiful pastries, and I'd just like to start off by sharing today with you how to make Hutspot. Now Hutspot consists of three basic ingredients: potatoes, carrots and onions. It is then cooked up and made mashed. Not too fine. Often it is cooked together with some beef, but as Dutch people we love to eat pork as well, so in this case I'm going to be preparing it with pork fillet. You can use pork chops, you can accompany this with meatballs, you can actually leave meat out altogether and make it with white beans towards the end, but the three key ingredients remain the same: potatoes, carrots and onions. Super cheap, doesn't take long to prepare, and absolutely hearty and delicious. So let's get cooking. So what you need is a preferably large heavy base pot with a lid, 2 kilograms of diced carrot, 2 kilograms of quartered or halved potatoes, depending on the size of them, and about 500 grams, so about a quarter of these two are equal quantities, the carrots and potatoes, and the onions should be roughly a quarter of the total dish. I have just over a quarter here. I've got about 600 grams. Anyway, I've been cutting these up, I've been quartering them. Why you don't want to cut the potatoes too fine is because you want a fairly chunky type of a mash. The carrots, however, they do need to be a bit finer. The onion, you can actually just quarter them. I do them in about eighths. Now, to this, traditionally you could add chopstick, which is a piece of beef that you would actually then cook up before in water for about an hour. Then you would add all of these ingredients to that beef, which really has to tenderize, and then this should cook within 30 to 40 minutes. This should be already cooked. So I'm going to add to this now 1 liter of beef stock, even though I'm serving it with a pork fillet. It just gives that beautiful flavor to it. So I'm going to add my beef stock to it. This is 1 liter. This is 2 kgs, guys, 2 kgs of carrots, 2 kgs of potatoes, and about 500-600 grams of onion. So that's all in there. I'm going to put the lid on, bring this to a boil. As soon as it's boiling, I'm going to turn it down to medium heat, and then I'm going to check it every now and again, every 10 minutes or so, because sometimes you find that it cooks dry too quickly. And this is all we're going to do with this right now. Now I am going to prepare some pork fillet with this. Fantastic stuff. It's not going to take as long to cook, so I'm going to go and take a little break, have my cup of coffee outside in fresh air, and I'll come back in about 10 minutes and I'll show you how to prepare our pork fillet. Okay, so we're 10 minutes into cooking our Hutspot, and what I have now over here is I have 2 beautiful pork fillets. I'm going to season these just with some salt and pepper. There's always a white sinew on this pork fillet. You also get a bit of hard fat sometimes, but not so much on pork fillets. Actually really lean meat, where a chicken breast fillet would contain about 5.5% fat. The pork fillet only contains about 7%. So it's very lean. So we do need to help this along with a good amount of butter, just to add to the flavor and the fat content. Preferably you would use a filleting knife for this. So you would normally use a filleting knife, not a paring knife. You can use a chef's knife, but a filleting knife would be the easiest for this. So what you want to do is you just want to put your knife under the little sinew, and look how easily you can just actually pull some of it off as well. Sometimes your butcher will have done this for you. Okay, so I have trimmed most of these sinew bitties off. I'm going to season it with salt, some pepper. I'm going to add both white pepper and freshly ground black pepper. You can never have enough pepper. I know there's a lot of people of the belief that you season your meat afterwards. I prefer to season it before because I like it to get crispy on the outside and still tender in the middle. So by adding the salt to the outside of your meat, you will ensure that it actually becomes a little bit crispier. But if you don't like that, then by all means, skip the salt at this part and season your meat afterwards. Alright, just grinding again on the other side of black pepper. Okay, so this has been going now for a good 10-15 minutes. I'm going to take the lid off now. It's on a medium to low heat rather, but you can see it's actually boiling. I'm going to take the lid off so I can get some of that water to evaporate. Like I said earlier, you do want to check it that it's not boiling dry, but you certainly do not want this wet. And if you have a look, all the vegetables are breaking down beautifully, nicely. They're all softening up. We're good. So over here I have my other frying pan. I'm going to just put that onto a heat. A good block or two of butter. Now, like I said earlier, the pork fillet is one that's very, very lean. I love butter. A little bit of butter once a day is not going to damage your health that much. And in this case, it's going to make that pork fillet all nice and succulent and juicy. Also, it will help bring our gravy together, which is essential for me. With a Hutspot, I really want a decent gravy. So we're going to wait for that to melt. I'm not only going to have butter in there, I am going to add just a dash of olive oil, only a little bit, and that will help the butter not to burn too quickly. So what I want to happen here is for the butter to start bubbling and starting to get slightly browned. That is when we add our meat. That is when you can hear that sizzle when you put your meat in. Fantastic. And like I said, you can do pork chops if you prefer. You could serve this with beef. If you want to do it the traditional Dutch way, you need to get your beef going ahead of time, and that gets then added to this pot as opposed to there. But I like it like this, and this is going to make a fantastic meal. Okay, the butter is now starting to brown. It's looking beautiful. I'm about to put the meat in. Hear that sizzle? Fantastic. Okay. So that's exactly what you want to hear, that absolutely beautiful sizzle. I suggest using a non-stick frying pan for this, or a heavy casserole such as I'm using. If you don't have a large size like this, by all means, cut the pork fillets in half and do it in 4 pieces as opposed to 2. Anyway, we don't want to turn this just yet. We want to put the heat up a little bit, and we want to turn this when we think it's browned enough, which should take just a few minutes. So I want to make it brown on all sides. Once we've done that, our gravy making process starts. So you will see in a minute. Okay, so these fillets are now ready for turning. Okay, so look at that. Stunning. Now, this is also the stage I'm going to be adding some sliced onion, which will totally help the flavor of the gravy. And now I'm just going to turn it again, just on the side where you can see there's no cooking process going on this side yet. So I'm going to turn them so that every little bit of this is equally brown. And then we will add some water, a lid, and leave it to steam until it's perfectly cooked. Okay, so this has been going 25 minutes now. It really is almost there, but there is still a little bit of wetness and sogginess. So I'm going to wait for this to cook dry, and then we're just going to give it a rough mash with a potato masher, and that should then be perfectly cooked. Okay, so I'm happy with the way they've browned now. I don't want it to let it go a lot further because I'm too worried that the butter might then start getting burnt. This is a total of maybe 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes browning the meat. I'm going to add some water, a little bit more. See, just enough so you can see that the liquid over here is busy, you know, it calms down. It's not boiling anymore. Now, if you have beef stock or chicken stock or vegetable stock, even the better, but just water will do. I'm going to put a lid on it. I'm going to turn it right down, and that's going to go for another 8 to 10 minutes. This has been going the entire time. It is actually now ready to be mashed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to put a little block of butter on there. I'm going to season it with some salt and some white pepper, and then we're going to mash it in a minute. This is a large quantity, so it will serve a large family, which I don't have a large family, but it obviously means that you have to season it correctly as well. And I find that mashed potato does not freeze very well, but this actually does tend to freeze okay. So, you know, for us as a family of 3, this is going to be too much. But we can freeze half of it for another meal, another day, or we can just have it as leftovers tomorrow. Family of 4 to 6, especially with strong young boys, you might just be able to finish it. Okay, so I'm going to add just a couple of blocks of butter. I've added salt and pepper. A little bit of butter. It's not that much. It just improves the richness of it. You can leave it out altogether. I just like it. Give it a rough mash. Okay, so this is a rough mash. I'm just going to taste this for seasoning. And the last time I ate this is when my mom prepared it, and sadly she passed away a few years ago. I haven't made it since, and it is so one of my most favorite meals. It's just got a flavor of its own. It's unlike anything else that you're used to, unless you are Dutch and you've had this before, or you're not Dutch and you've had this before and you got used to the flavor, but it's just unlike anything else. It's not like you're tasting a potato and a carrot and an onion. It's just, this combination makes a flavor all of its own, and it is so simple, really just so simple. You just need to get the quantities right. Absolutely delicious. Let's have a look at our pork fillet over here. Now, that's going beautifully. You can see that the gravy is busy reducing. I'm just going to give them a bit of a turn so that they cook evenly on all sides. And the lid goes back on. I'm also going to put the lid back on our Hutspot. Now all we do is we wait until these pork fillets have been thoroughly cooked. They've been going now for maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes at the most. They do need a little bit longer. We're going to wait for them to be fully cooked. We'll remove them. If we need to reduce the gravy, we will do so, but I doubt that that's necessary. Okay, so I've also cooked up some green beans. I'm one of these people that loves having some green sort of vegetable together with the rest of our meal. Green beans, fantastic. I've just added a little drizzle of olive oil. I'm going to add some salt, freshly ground pepper, ready to go. So we are now ready to plate. Look how beautifully succulent these slices of pork fillet are. Wow, just perfectly cooked. They are fully cooked through, but they still have a little bit of that thickness in the middle. Stunning. So here's our plate. We're going to plate some of our absolutely amazing, and I really mean this, guys, please just try this out. It is so cheap to make. It is so absolutely delicious. I'm going to place some of that in the center. I'm going to place some of our beautiful pork fillet on the one edge over here, like that. I've made some really beautiful green beans to go with it. Like I said, I love green beans. Yes, I did wash my hands also. Just put those to the side like that. Okay, so I put some over. What we do in the Netherlands, we make a little hole, and then we put some more gravy in there, just like that. And this, my friends, is really a fantastic, hearty Dutch meal. Loads of vitamins, loads of just good heartiness. It's stunning. I hope you've enjoyed this. I am so looking forward to having my Dutch meal that reminds me a little bit of my mom and my dad. But really, I've had so much fun making this. So simple, so affordable, and so delicious. Please remember to tune in to my channel, Cooking with Fleur. Remember to subscribe, remember to like. Love you lots. Bye.